So today I'm talking about a Dodge with the P1684 code. Battery was disconnected, what it is and how you can go about fixing it. And so what is this P1684 code? Well, basically modern vehicles have a lot of computers built into them. There's going to be a computer controlling the engine, a computer controlling the brakes, and a computer controlling the transmission. But when you get this P1684 code, the power going to one of these computers, mainly the transmission control module or the powertrain control module, keeps getting disconnected. There's some kind of issue going on there, and so it's got to be troubleshooted to know why. And the transmission can have a dedicated computer called the transmission control module that the only thing it does is it controls the transmission functions. And when that happens, the engine's going to be controlled by what's called an engine control module. So there'll be separate computers, but in many newer vehicles, they combine the transmission control module and the engine control module into one computer called the powertrain control module. And so while this code is seeing a problem with the power going to the transmission control module, if there is no TCM, then it's going to be built into the PCM. All the electronics and everything are still there. It's just going to be built into what's called the powertrain control module. So be sure to keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind with this code is that there might be some kind of other issue going on inside the wiring or with the sensor or something like that that's just causing the power to be interrupted going to the computer. And once that's fixed, then this problem will be solved. So if you are having other types of wiring problems, other types of codes or anything like this, be sure to pay attention to that because something else could be interrupting the power going to the computer. And once that's fixed, then this P1684 code would clear. So also be sure to keep that in mind. And so what are some possible causes of a Dodge P1684 code? Well, the first thing that could cause this is bad battery terminals or battery connections. So if you go look at the battery, be sure it doesn't look like the terminals are all corroded, that they're making good contact and things like this. Because the first thing that could cause this is that there's some kind of issue going on with the battery terminals or any of the connections. And the next thing that could cause this is a bad alternator or a bad battery. Basically, if there's any kind of issue with the battery, if it goes dead, or if the alternator's not charging the battery, or anything like this, then that's going to cause problems. If you have a multimeter, you can go and test that battery and that alternator. Basically, to do this, you set your meter to DC volts, you check to see what the voltage is with the vehicle off, and that should read like at least 12.20, ideally like 12.50 or higher. And then you start up the engine, and the voltage should go up. A good voltage range would be like 13.5 to 14.5 volts, somewhere inside of there. You can look up what your alternator specified output's supposed to be, but usually if it's at least 13.5 to 14.5 volts, then it means the alternator's charging the battery. One thing to keep in mind is that very new vehicles, some of them have what's called a smart alternator, which can vary the voltage more than this. So if you do have a car with a smart alternator, you might have to look up what the rated output's supposed to be for that specific alternator. But by far, most vehicles, as long as the voltage is roughly 13.5 to 14.5 volts, then that means it's good. Because the next thing that could cause this is some kind of issue with the alternator or with the battery. And the next thing that could cause this is that there's some kind of issue going on inside the wiring. There's like an open, there's a short, there's a blown fuse, something like this that's going to that transmission control module or powertrain control module. So first thing with this is be sure to go and check for any blown fuses. Basically look for anything labeled like TCM, PCM, ECU, ECM, any kind of computer related fuse. And be sure those are all good. You can also get wiring schematics for your particular vehicle and use a multimeter and go and check the computer and be sure you've got voltage going to it along with the good ground. The wiring will be specific to the Dodge, to the year, make, and model. So you will need to get wiring schematics for that particular Dodge to know for sure what's going on. But the next thing that could cause this is some kind of wiring issue. And the last thing on the list is going to be that there's a bad computer, that the transmission control modules failed, or the powertrain control modules failed. And this isn't too common. Usually when you get a P1684 code, it's going to be something else, but it does happen sometimes. One thing to mention about these computers is that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when they go bad, they actually have burnt components on the board and you'll be able to smell it like a burnt smell. So if you go up around the computer and you smell like a burnt smell or something like that, then it's possible that that computer has had some kind of problem. Again, these computers can't fail and you don't smell no burnt smell. But if you do, very likely that computer has gone bad. But the last thing on the list is going to be a bad computer. And so that's basically it. I just wanted to give a basic overview of how you go about fixing a vehicle with the P1684 code. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.